Today I've got the ID Buzz in Yowzer Signs and Graphics, and we're going to wrap the bottom in that awesome green colour. Right, this is the original L380 turquoise green that was used on the original VW camper vans between 1958 and 1964 when they discontinued this colour. And since it's 60 years after, we thought we'd go for this, make it nice and retro. So today, I'm going to give you an inside look at the process of wrapping, or half wrapping a vehicle. So we've got Jake and Jack on the job. So cutting around, we've had to take the door handles out, and the doors are wrapped to start off with. We're only going halfway up, so we're having a white top and the nice colour on the bottom. The key is get the handles off, and it's much easier to wrap in there. So I've got about 20 metres of this Hexis wrap vinyl. Hopefully we'll not use a lot. And I'm also thinking of putting some colour in here as well. After the door, they move on to wrapping the wing. Then Jake moves ahead to remove the rubber and cuts a piece of vinyl for the sliding door. Let me briefly show you in real time what it takes to apply wrapping film to a panel. Here you'll see them both working the squeegees back and forth to pull out the air as they apply it. This is made much easier using a Hexis wrapping film, as it has hex press technology, which basically means that there are channels in the glue that allow you to easily squeeze out any air or bubbles from under the vinyl. Using a heat gun, they finish up wrapping the sliding door and then go on to cover the rear wheel. So we are just about an hour in and we've got 3 panels already done. We're flying, boys, ain't we? Flying. Flying. But you've done the easy bits first, right?
Saved it up.
They then applied the last piece on this side, squeegeeing it in place and carefully trimming around the wheel arch before moving on to the rear of the van. Although it isn't complicated, it's not quite as simple as the sides. The boys tackled it in sections, starting with the bottom and working their way up. Okay, we're back on the back doors now, and it's a little bit more fiddly. Well, we've had to put a little joining piece down the bottom here, and then we're wrapping each of the doors. And what I said we might do, Jack, is maybe colour these in that turquoise. What do you reckon?
Yeah, send the black in turquoise, keep that a bit white.
I think that'll look good. And we've got the white ID badge lettering that goes back on over here, so I think that will contrast really, really well. Whilst Jack continued with the rear doors, Jake went about wrapping the door handles, which is a bit fiddly and time consuming, but they'll look great when he's done. Concentration.
Yeah, Don, I'm focusing.
Then our designer Ed came to help get the shape right for the upper infills.
What we've been doing is just tracing in an odd bit of black and just offering up to see if it works. What do you reckon? We got it?
That sounds about there.
Yeah, it's about the shape there, isn't it? But there it is there, that's pretty good, isn't it? But that'll be, of course, in this mint colour, in this turquoise colour. Fantastic.
Ed then put a piece of our coloured wrap vinyl into the cutter, which perfectly cut out the shapes we needed, and I went about weeding them out, ready for the boys to fit. Jack finished the vinyl off on the right door before moving on to the left one, which he has to cover completely and then cut out the area for the VW badge.
Yeah, as I see that going on there, Jack, I definitely reckon we've covered that black with the turquoise, mate.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
I'll break it up nicely.
And you do that by hand, because you've got little lines on here, have you?
Some little grooves in there, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Fantastic.
Just wrap over the whole thing,
Awesome.
cut in the grooves.
Good stuff.
So Jack finished wrapping the lower half of the rear barn doors, making sure the vinyl's heated into place and everything's been trimmed up.
And voila, back doors are done, and he's tried a little bit on this badge, and that took him about a minute, so that's going to be easy to do. And he's going to leave the bumpers until last. I think next they're going to spin it round and get on with this side here. And they're going to leave the front bumper till last, is that right, Jack?
Yeah, I don't fancy starting that yet. I can wait.
So they've offered it up with magnets, they've peeled back a bit of the vinyl, you'll see, and then they've cut the backing paper off, and now they're going to hinge that on and stick the top bit on. And that gives them a starting point for where they're going to wrap. There you go. Now, of course, this is wrapping vinyl, so it's an easy apply vinyl. Basically, the glue in the back has channels in it, so all the bubbles come out really, really easy. You see that? There you go. Watch how easy that comes out. There you go, disappears.
I got another one there.
Big one there.
Like magic.
You see the technique they use, where you come down bit by bit, overlapping the last squeeze that you did, without trying to squeegee too much at a time.
You made it look easy, boys.
It was Friday afternoon, so the boys finished up that panel and called it a day. The next day Jack was in early, so he got about taping up the door and used a template he'd made to fit them back on again in the correct place. They then carved another piece of vinyl, lined it up and continued to wrap the other side of the van. It was great to see the van coming along. Don't forget that we got this van just before we went off to Morocco last summer, so it's been a lot of planning we'd been through, but it was finally becoming a reality, and I'm loving the colour that Lindsay chose. It's like the original VW turquoise, only more electric. I think it looks amazing. The boys have fitted this in around other work. I couldn't stop work at Yowzer, so they've been fitting it in between. And we're on day 3, we're Saturday, they've come in, bit of overtime. And we're getting on quite well. We've got the ID badge back on, the ID Buzz badge is back on there. And this side here is almost wrapped. Look at that.
That's been quite quick wrapping the side, isn't it?
Yeah, it didn't take us too long. Probably, what, 45 minutes? Yeah.
That's pretty darn good.
Well.
And you're taping up here, Jack. Where's you taping up here for me?
Yeah, well, it's easier when you're wrapping because otherwise it starts sticking to everything. So the masking tape.
So the masking tape will
to the
stop it
hinges.
sticking.
Makes it easier to tuck in.
Right, gotcha. And when that's done, they've left the back bumper and the front bumper till last. So that's going to be the trickiest. Look at that. This is going to be a pain to wrap. But they've gone all in on the corners here and cleaned it all up with isopropanol and cotton buds. So that'll help it stick, but that is going to be a pain to do.
Next, they wrapped the little quarter pieces on the rear by the hinges.
Now we're considering wrapping these hinges here. We're not sure how well it's going to take. Might put a white wrap here and a turquoise one on here. Hey, I know it's going to be tricky, but maybe we'll give it a go, see what it's like.
Give it a go, see what happens. Yeah,
Okay.
it's more for the long distance. I don't know how long it will last on there, but...
That's all right, I know a guy who can fix it.
Then Jack covered the rear VW badge with some vinyl and took the time to hand cut it on top of the badge. Whilst Jay carried on wrapping the front wing, Jack masked up the front grille area. They then finished off the wing, cut a large piece of vinyl and went about wrapping the front bumper. They initially just stretched the vinyl into place to cover the whole bumper. Then Jake removes one side and holds it firm in place whilst Jack grabs a heat gun and goes about slowly warming up the vinyl. Being careful not to overheat an area too much as it will burn a hole in the vinyl.
The essential heat, you couldn't do it without heat there, could you?
No.
They then stretch it in place where it easily finds the contour of the bumper. Jack then grabs a heat gun again to warm up more of the vinyl, whilst Jake pulls it back down and Jack pulls the vinyl outwards, stretching it into place around the curved bumper. You simply couldn't do this with a normal vinyl, and it's why these jobs require us to use an expensive wrap vinyl, as it can be heated and stretched to fit most contours. Wrapping vehicles can be very time consuming, with most wraps taking several days to complete. Here they are wrapping the rest of the bumper, which I've sped up, but it took them just over an hour to do this bit alone.
Right, we're on to one of the hardest bits now, and that's the rear bumper. And what we've done is there's some cutting tape around here, because this bit here does not need to be done. But it's going to be really hard to be able to heat it over there, bending it this way and then bending it this way.
So again, the boys measure up the bumper area and cut off another piece of wrapping vinyl, remove the paper backing and plonk it in place. Just like the front, they go around heating and stretching the vinyl into place. I want to add that this might look easy, but it takes a fairly high level of skill to do wrapping correctly with a good finish.
So sweet, this has gone smoothly, Jack?
Yeah, it's gone on lovely.
Hasn't it?
Gone perfect in there.
Brilliant, fantastic. And did you do this one, Jake?
Yeah, I'd like to take full claim, but I didn't. We're getting there though.
Jack has been wrapping for many years now, and Jake has been quick to learn from his years of knowledge. And lastly, they were just left with the front grille to wrap. Again, they cut some vinyl just larger than the area they were wrapping. They peeled off the backing paper, plonked it on top of the grille, and went about heating the vinyl into place.
Whilst these guys are doing that, I'm editing this week's video.
I must say, at this stage, I had no idea how long it was going to take for them to wrap this. But before they cut out the diamonds, they offered it back up to the car to ensure it was working, and then returned it to the table and went for it.
And these are the handles that Jake has wrapped, and I've got to say, he's done a pretty good job of these. Look at that. First time doing handles, Jake?
Yeah, first time, yeah.
Brilliant. He's done a cracking job of that, mate. Well done.
Get that.
Now, I shot this in time-lapse from several angles, but they spent the next 3 hours wrapping the grill and cutting out all the little diamond shapes. As Jack was wrapping it, he was hesitant whether the wrap would stick in place. But as it was ours, and it was not a customer's vehicle, we agreed to give it a go and see if it worked.
So what did you say, Jack? No one can have this grill done if they want their buzz done?
No, please no. Stay in white if they are.
You did a great job, though, boys.
Nice one.
And now we're putting the handles back in, Jake.
That's it, yeah, back in, all screwed in now. Just got to slip them in.
The end is nigh.
That's it, we're getting closer and closer.
It's so much easier to be wrapping without these handles on. You can do it with them on, but you're never going to get the finish like that. That nice clean finish there. Brilliant.
Eventually, after 3 hours, the grill was wrapped, and they took it back over to the van and clipped it back into place. It looked beautiful, so much better than leaving it white.
And she's done, look at that. Oh, it's almost a shame to put a number plate on the front, isn't it? Always is.
Yeah.
Well done, boys. Looks fantastic. Fantastic. Look at this. Now, I take it outside, but it's very dark out there right now. We've still got to put the stripes in here. And look, that badge is looking mint, isn't it? Excuse the pun, mint. And there we go. What a great job they've done of that, isn't it? What a fantastic job. Boys, thank you very much.
No worries.
Well done. So that was how we spent the weekend. It's Monday morning now, and I've popped back in to put the number plates on, which Jack did very, very carefully to ensure they were lined up perfectly on the front and on the back, which was a little trickier. He then applied the 3 coloured stripes to both sides of the van, and next up we get the pop-top roof installed.